Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial on how to get started with Metabase. My name is Jonathan, and let's get going. So in case you don't know, let's first spend a few seconds on what Metabase is. So Metabase is a business intelligence tool. So this is a tool where you'll connect your database or data warehouse to it, and you'll be able to get insights on your data, answer key business questions, which will let you understand your business better and be able to improve it, improve your revenue, your customer service, and so on. Metabase is particularly popular among startups for a few reasons. One, it's most of it is no code, so most people are able to learn it. It's through a drag and drop interface that we'll check out together. It's also open source, so you can, if you want to go through that, you can actually install Metabase on your own servers, and you will not have to pay anything apart from obviously the time that you'll spend doing that. And even, they have a hosted option which starts at $79 per month, which is pretty reasonable compared to other solutions like Tableau or Looker and the likes. And lastly, one key feature that customers of Metabase really like is that you can share dashboards over Slack or email at regular interval to all your team. All right, so who is this video for? Two type of people. So first, if you are, yourself a startup founder or exec manager at a startup, and you need a tool to make more with your data, and you're kind of shopping around, comparing various solutions, and Metabase is one of them. Then this will show you, in under 40 minutes, most of what you need to know about Metabase, how it works, and you can assess whether it's going to be a good fit for you or not. Also, if you are already working in a company that is using Metabase, then and maybe you've never really used it, or too comfortable with it, this video will show you most of what you need to know to make the most of it. And if you follow along and understand everything we go through, you'll be able to get back to work and feel you have superpowers and impress all your coworkers. All right, so what we'll go through is we'll start by I'll show you very quickly how to connect your database or data warehouse to Metabase. It's very simple. Then we'll see how Metabase is organized. So you'll see, maybe you've seen that already. They talk about questions and dashboards and collections. So it can be a bit confusing at first. So we'll see what that is. We'll see how to build stuff, how to build charts, data tables, how to export data, and build dashboards. I'll share with you a few tips that I've learned after spending a lot of time on Metabase. So, hopefully that will help you, knowing this at the beginning. And lastly, we'll see that key feature we mentioned before about sharing on Slack and over email. All right, and so as we go through all these things, we'll target to build a dashboard like this one that I have here. So this is a kind of thing you can build with Metabase and share with your team. And as you can see, I have a few charts, my revenue per month, my net revenue per month. I can also, we'll see how to do that. We have a filter here. So if I want to see those various charts only for the category, the product category gadget, and I can just select it. And then all my tables and charts will refresh accordingly. And so we'll basically build this over the next 20 to 30 minutes. We'll try to keep it under 30 or 40 minutes at most. And so let's get going. So the first thing you'll need to do, and by the way, we'll use a database that Metabase connects by default to every new user account. So you'll be able to follow along with me as I go through things. You will have the same database. So I would recommend you to do that. Create an account on Metabase. You'll get 14 days free trial. You will have to enter your credit card though. You can just go on the website, click on Get Started, and create your account. All right. So first thing first, if you want to actually connect your own database or on data warehouse, how do you do that? So they will actually prompt you to do this during the sign up process. And what you'll need is, so for me, as I already have an account, I need to go to admin, add the database. And so you'll need to have those various information. If you have no idea what that is, then ask your engineering team to give you those credentials. And one thing that's actually that took me time to get to is so for Metabase to access your database, they're going to do that from a specific IP address. And if your company prevents random IP addresses to access your database, then you'll have to basically whitelist the IP address from Metabase. And they actually don't tell you that in the process, and they don't give you the actual IPs in question. So I'll share an article where I have the IP address right here. Hopefully that will save you time. All right, so next let's get to the meat of it. We'll try first to understand, what are questions, what are dashboards, what are collection in Metabase. So if you go to here, browse all items, you'll see a few things. So when you have this logo like this, it is what they call a dashboard. So it's what I've just showed you, like basically a set of charts and data tables brought together that you can then share easily with your team. What they call a question is a part of a dashboard. So basically, that's what you will get started with. You'll always get started by this button here, ask a question. And the end output of a question is something like this. So a chart or a data table, basically the answer of a business question that you'll ask yourself. And lastly, they have collections. So collections are basically folders in which you can organize your dashboards and questions. So I hope that's clear. Honestly, I found this organization pretty confusing. Right here, I have a mix of dashboards and questions, and it's not really clear which one is which. But hopefully, I provided you with some clarity on that question. All right, now let's get to the meat of it. So we're going to create our first question, and again, they call this a question because it's really a question that you may be asking yourself in your business. So in our case, we have this sample database that I'll show you very quickly. So we basically have four tables in that database: orders, people, products, and reviews. So you can imagine we're some e-commerce company or something like that, selling stuff, products to people. And so one first question we'll ask ourselves is, what was our revenue per month since we started being in business? So let's answer this question with Metabase. So first thing you want to do is click on this Ask a Question button. You'll have three choices here. We'll go through each one, but for this example, let's start with simple question. Then you'll be able to choose the database that you want to use. So here I have this database that I've connected and the sample data set, which is the one provided by Metabase. So we'll go with this. And since we want the revenue, we'll choose the orders table within that. Okay, cool. So now that you have selected this, then you can see actually the content of the table. So you'll see only the first 2,000 rows, but you can kind of have a feel of what kind of data is in there, how it's organized and so on. And so as a reminder, we want the revenue per month for this business. So this is the raw data. We'll want to summarize this data, aggregate it basically. So we'll click on this summarize button. And we want to aggregate it per month, right? And so I don't have really the months per se, but I have this created at column. So let's try this. And as I select it, you can see that by default, they aggregate per month. So if I want to change that, I actually have quite a few options. If I want per week, per year, or whatever else. Great. So, and the other thing you can see is that they actually already, provide you with a visualization of this, of your question, with a graph that they guessed was the most relevant. We'll see how to customize that. But before that, right here we summarize by count. So what that means is for each month, Metabase is going to count the number of records for each month. But that's actually not what I want. What I want is a revenue, right? So this is where there's something I dislike personally about Metabase is now if I want to do the revenue and I'm not sure what was in my raw data anymore, how do I calculate the revenue? Then I can't easily go back to the raw data. I can click on orders here, but basically what I did is what I did earlier with the summarizing is going to be unsafe, which is kind of clunky according to me anyway. So we'll summarize, and so at least now I can see my data. And so basically for each order you have the total, the sum total, right? So that's what I'm going to want to sum. So I'll select here sum of, and I'll choose total. So sum of total. This gives you the absolute total, and what I want is to aggregate it per month, as we said. Okay, cool. So this is pretty much what we wanted. Now, if you want to kind of customize the visualization, you can. So in this case, maybe I would actually prefer a now we are chart instead of a line chart like this. So I can create on visualization, and I can choose various type of visualization here. So I'll choose area, and then you can also customize further. So for example, I actually don't really like having those dots everywhere. So I will here turn off show dots on lines. And also, I actually like having this, so the actual number for each data point. So I toggle the show values on data point option. Feel free to play with all of this. It's pretty powerful. It's pretty well done. Okay, so now I have this, which is basically the answer to my question. Now I want to save this, and that's another thing I'm not a fan of in Metabase is you really have to remember to save often. It doesn't auto-save what you do, so you could easily get yourself in a situation where you do some work and then it's not saved. So here I'm going to save this question. I'm going to call it revenue per month. And I'm going to save it in our analytics collection. And then it will prompt you to add it to a dashboard. So I will do that. And I'll create a new dashboard, which I'll call Metabase demo video. And I'll create the dashboard. So that will bring me to the dashboard. And this is where I can, change, the size of this and do some other customizations we'll go through later. For now, I have my revenue per month, which was what I wanted. So I'm going to save, and I have the first item of my dashboard. Awesome. So that's the first good thing that we've done. Now I'd like actually something a little bit more subtle. So if you remember, in our orders table we had a column with discounts. So here actually my revenue is gross revenue. I did not subtract the discounts, and that's an interesting data to have, but I'd actually prefer to have the net revenue, the revenue net of discounts. So let's see how we can do that. So it's a little bit more advanced. So I'll create a new question again. I'll go further on that step because you've got it now. And so I have my total, I have my discount. So what would be pretty handy would be to add a column, which would be a calculation with the total minus the discount. And actually you can do that in Metabase. So let me show you how to do that. So you have this editor here. So this show editor button, so you click on it and you'll have a way to basically transform your raw data. What I don't love here is I would really enjoy having this editor and still seeing my data at the same time. If I don't remember the name of a column or something, then I can click on visualize, see again the raw data, and go back to the editor. So I'll add a custom column, and I'll be able to do pretty much what I said earlier, which is I'll choose a total and I'll do minus discount. And I'll call this net revenue. Okay, awesome. So we have a net revenue column, but unfortunately, as you can see, when the discount is null, the net revenue is null as well. It basically doesn't do -0. It just returns null as well. So that's not going to work. I kind of did it on purpose to show you that, because I think the custom column feature is can be very helpful. It's a little bit limited because ideally here I could do a very simple, if function to work around this problem, but they actually do not support if or something like that. So the only way I would have to do this would be through a SQL query, which ideally I don't want to do. So I have another workaround. So what I'll do is I'll first summarize. So I'll take the sum of total, and I'll add another metric, which will be the sum of discount. I'll group this by months, like we did before. And so this gives me the graph. And by the way, so by default, they always show you the graph, but you also have a table view of that data, which to work is better according to me. And so I can see for each month I have the sum of total, which is revenue, the sum of discount. And if I want the sum of revenue, then I can create a column here, which will be the sum of total minus sum of discount. So I'll do exactly that. I'll go back to the editor. This time I'll create a custom column, but as this part is a little bit confusing, I think, where this time I'm going to create the custom column on the new table that I've just created through my grouping, and not on the row table that I had earlier. And so I can do sum of total minus sum of discount, and I'll call this net revenue. I click on visualize. And now I do have my net revenue. I still have the same problem on the months of April and May 2016, but look, that was 5 years ago, so I'm fine with that. Okay, cool. So now if I just want to visualize this, again, I'll click on visualization. Sorry. Again, I'll choose an area chart. So there it is. But this time, as you can see, I have multiple. So I want to remove, I just want to see the net revenue, right? So I'll just remove the sum of discount and the sum of total from here, and there it is. I'll do the same thing as earlier, which is I'll show the values and I'll remove the dots. All right, so now I can save this again, this time net revenue per month, and I'll add it to our dashboard again. I'll make this a little bit bigger, and there it is. All right, so the main purpose of this was to show you the custom column. Now let's go to something a little bit more advanced. So those two cases were pretty relatively simple in the sense that we only needed one table from our database, the orders table. In most cases, actually, you'll need to combine different tables from the same database, or to use a technical term, join them. And so let's do something that will require us to join so that I can show you how that works. So let's say, so it's great, we have our revenue per month, but we're selling different type of products, and actually for each product I know it's associated to a category. And so what I would love to see is a breakdown of the revenue per month per category. So let's do it. Let's ask a question, and this time I'll choose custom question. And so when you choose custom question, you'll always start from the editor. By the way, you could also start from a simple question and then go to the editor. You'd still be able to do join. It's really just like the user experience. Okay, so I'll choose the orders, and this time, so just as a quick reminder, I have a products table where I have the category column, which is the one that interests me here. So I'll want to join orders and products. By the way, if that doesn't make any sense to you, you don't understand what I'm talking about, you might need a refresher on what a relational database is and how it works. If you go to the article that I've linked to the video, we'll explain this. Very basic. It's really not very not complex or anything, but that might be helpful if you don't understand what I'm saying. So assuming you do, I'll want to join the orders with products. So basically what I want is in my orders table having the product column, like you would do a VLOOKUP in Excel or Google Sheet. So you'll click on the join data button right here, which is kind of hidden. Then you'll choose the table you want to join with. So I'll choose here products. And so you can see that Metabase automatically filled this, the where product ID equal ID. So if you're a little bit familiar with relational database, they were able to do this because product ID in the orders table is a foreign key and ID is a primary key in products. Basically, the database told Metabase that those fields were linked. In some cases, it won't be the case, and so you'll have to yourself, state this, explain what's the link basically between two tables, kind of like you would do in a VLOOKUP in a spreadsheet in Google Sheet or Excel. All right, cool. And the other thing I like to do is if you just do a join like this, it's going to bring all the tables, all the columns, from the other table, so from products in this case. And I don't want this. I actually just want the category. Actually, maybe the price, which might be helpful for something later. So I'll just choose those two, and I'm good. I could start the summarizing here, but first I actually want to see my table with my join. So as you can see, I have two new columns here. Category, it's kind of nice that you see that it's coming from the products table, and same for price. Cool. So now I can summarize. And sorry, I said earlier we wanted the revenue, but actually I want the number of orders per month per category. So this time I won't do a sum, I'll actually just keep the count. So a count will just count the number of records, and since each record here is an order, that will give me the number of orders. And then I want to group by category and by month, right? So here I pulled my hair for a while because I didn't understand. If you just select the created ads, as you can see, I've lost the category, right? So if I just check again, so category is unselected. So if you just select another field in the group by section, it's going to unselect the other one. But you can add both, but you'll have to click here on the add grouping rather than here. Okay, so this time I have both. Cool. So I don't like this visualization. I don't think it's the best way to look at it. I'd actually enjoy having a stacked bar chart. So I'll go to visualization, and just in passing, I'll show you a few things. There's this pivot table option, which can be kind of nice. So you can see per month the number. And actually, would be nice to have it the other way around, something like this. And what I would love here is to have each month as a percentage of for each month, the percentage for each category, which here I don't think I'm able to do. I'll be able to do in the chart, but it's kind of not the same thing anyway. So let's do the stock bar chart. So I'll use the bar chart, and in display, I'll do stack. And so that's kind of cool, right? I can see very easily, what are the most important categories. And I could also do it, that's what I meant earlier, by percentage. I'll keep the normal stack, but both can be helpful depending on the use case. And do I want the yeah, let's take that. And okay. All right, cool. So I'm done with this. I'll save. So number of orders per category per month, and I'll save. And I will add it to the dashboard once again, make it bigger. All right, and save. All right, great. So still a few things that we'd love to go through. How could we segment some data in Metabase? So to give you a very simple example, let's say that if you remember, we had a price. Of course, each product has a price, right? So you might want to know, how many products below a certain price am I selling? How many, above a certain price, and maybe have various price segments where you'd like to see the breakdown. So how do we do this in Metabase? So let's, as usual, create a question. I'll start again from orders. I'll join quickly with products, and I'll take the price. I'll take the category as well, and let's go for it. Okay, so I basically want to aggregate, summarize by price this time. So I'll choose price. And as you can see in my chart here, and you can see that easier in the table view, Metabase automatically created segments of my price. So what I would have expected more is something like this, which is default. So they don't segment at all. So they take literally each price and they see how many orders there were for each. But they have this thing called bins, which is kind of weird as a name, I think. But maybe that's because I'm not native in English. But anyway, I would call them segments. But anyway, you can choose how many segments you have. So I'll take 10 here. What I would love is actually creating my own segments. Maybe, depending on your business, I'm not sure those all make sense. Unfortunately, that's not possible in Metabase unless you want to do some SQL. That's kind of unfortunate. But anyway, that's kind of cool. And actually, this time I'll just keep the table. I don't want to. I actually don't want chart. So to just have the data in a table, I click on visualization, choose table, and actually I didn't know you could do that, but let's do some conditional formatting. So I want to do it on the count, and okay, so it's not as cool as in Excel where you can just you actually have to set the rule by yourself. So let's say that if it's more than 2,000, we'll put it in blue. Okay. I thought they might have like in Excel where you just apply conditional formatting on the whole, and you have like a bigger bar on the biggest numbers, or like biggest numbers in red, smaller in green, or something like that. But apparently they don't. Anyway, that's still cool. Maybe I'll put it in green rather than blue, and save this, and say number of orders per price segment. And again, I'll add it to our dashboard. And I'll increase that so that I can see all the segments in one go. And I can maybe, if I have space, it's kind of a Tetris game. Nice. I have space here. No, I don't. Okay, whatever. I'll keep it here. Okay. All right, cool. So I'll save this dashboard. One thing I want to go through very quickly is if you are familiar with SQL, how you can do that. It's very straightforward. You just ask a question, choose native query this time. You'll choose the database, and then you can start, writing your query. It's a SQL editor, and then you can visualize from that. So, nothing crazy, just normal stuff. And now what I want to show you is how to make your dashboard interactive. So that's that's a pretty cool feature in Metabase. Overall, my personal opinion is the whole like dashboard building and exploration it's kind of clunky. I kind of personally want to have this data in a spreadsheet and I play with it and feel it more and feel that it's very flexible. But where I think Metabase is great and much better than spreadsheet is with the pure dashboarding feature. So if I go to where it is, yeah, you see that's what I meant when I was saying that it's not organized well, but yeah, here it is. Okay, so that's my dashboard. So a few things. So what would be super cool is I have this total revenue here. This price segment breakdown here. As you understood, the category is something important in our business, and what would be really cool is for me to share this with colleagues, and then they could kind of play with some parameters. So, for example, choose a certain category, and then all the dashboards, all the charts here, the questions would update accordingly. And so that's possible with Metabase. What you want to do is edit dashboards, add a filter here, and you can add various type of filters. So here we want to add a filter on the category. So you'll have this, and I was initially very confused by this menu, so hopefully I'll help you not be confused. I was looking for the place where you would link the filter to a column from the data. So I thought it would be here. Actually, it's here on a per question basis, which kind of makes sense, but I was so focused on that right side that I didn't see that initially. Anyway, so what you want to do is if I want to the filter to impact this question, I'll go here and select the column that I want to be controlled by the filter. So here it's category, right? Now, unfortunately, in my net revenue per month, I don't have it. And I kind of did it on purpose earlier to show you that if you don't have it, it means that you did not have the category in the question. So if you remember when we didn't do a join in this question. And so as a result of that, we don't have the category here. So if I wanted, if it were important for me to have it, I would go back to the question, add the category, do the join, and then I could add the filter. But anyway, I'll just do it on the rest. And then I can even put in the default value. In this case, I want the default value to not be anything, so just everything. So I'll just click on done, save. And now I have this thing. And if I click on it, I can choose one or multiple categories, and my dashboard will update accordingly, which is really cool. And now another thing that would be super cool is to, here I have a breakdown per category, right? And I'm sure you've seen that on some like online dashboards. If you click on like here, then it would update all the other reports. So that's actually possible. So let me show you how. If you click on edit dashboard, on each question, you'll have this click behavior button. So I'll click on this one, on this one, and basically I can trigger an action based on the click. And in this case, so you could go to like a website somewhere, or in this case, we wanted to update the filter basically, right? So I'll click this option here. I have only one filter, so I can choose which filter I want to be updated. It should update product category. Click on done and save. And now, if I click on here, the widget category, then as you can see, everything updates, and you can see that my filter was updated with the widget, which is pretty cool. And you can really build some powerful stuff here. Obviously, another thing you could do as a filter is a filter on the time period. Choose a week, a month, a quarter, whatever makes sense. Okay, so the last bit I want to show you is how to share this dashboard on a regular interval with your team. So it's very easy. You can click on sharing here, dashboard subscriptions. Interesting. Sorry, not sure what's going on. There was a little bug. So then you can choose, email or Slack. I won't go through the whole setup. It's very simple. You just enter the email address, when you want it to be sent, and so on. You won't. So I think this feature is probably still a little bit experimental. Sometimes it won't work great. Maybe a chart will be turned into a table, a data table, or that kind of things. But anyway, it's still pretty cool. You can also attach the results as a CSV. If people want to play with the data after. So very cool feature, and based on everything I've heard, this is one of the killer feature for Metabase. All right, cool. So I really hope that was helpful. That's pretty much it for me. Just to conclude, Metabase is pretty cool tool, pretty powerful. So if you're looking for a new BI solution, you should definitely look it up and see if it fits your needs. Just to repeat what I said earlier, it's pretty affordable. As you could see, you can do a lot of powerful things without writing SQL. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but hopefully I help you through that. And the sharing capacity are really interesting. On the minus side, I do think there's a learning curve, and maybe not everybody in the team will be able to pick it up and start building stuff. Which I do think is a significant minus. I also think that drilling down on the data is not that easy. So, if I'm a user and I'm looking at this and I'm like, my widget category, I don't know, decrease or whatever, and I want to understand why. Was it a product that was out of stock? Was it a price that was too high, so we didn't have as many sales on it? Or it could be 100 different reasons. And if I want to understand this and drill down in the data, like I could do maybe in Excel, where I would really see the raw data and play with it, I would not be able to do that easily, really, unless the person who built the dashboard kind of planned for that case and had all the right questions associated to that. But it is very difficult to do. And finally, I think in terms of flexibility, again, as I said earlier, sometimes you just want to get this data out in a spreadsheet and play with it and feel it more. If you are in the process of setting up a BI tool, shopping for a new tool, you should definitely check out our product called Actiondesk. Actiondesk is the easiest way for startup teams to to get the most out of their data. It works like a spreadsheet. It is actually a spreadsheet. So you'll find all the features and the formulas that you already know and are comfortable with. The big value is that pretty much everybody in the team can easily go into the data and answer questions that they ask themselves about the business and how to improve it, instead of having to ask the data analyst or the data engineer or software engineer to come up with dashboards like this. So if you want to check out, you can try it for free for 15 days, as there's no commitment, no credit card needed. So doesn't cost anything to check it out. And if you do, let me know. If you have any questions or comments on this video or anything else, please put a comment on YouTube or find me on Twitter, and let's chat.